Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome back to part 3 of our recipe folio. And this is the big guy. This is the 8x10 folio that we're working on. Let's do a little walkthrough of where we're at. Okay, so when you open the folio, here on this side, I've got recipe cards here and then also on the back of there, and these open up. Remember, the paper clips are holding it down. Then here we have a flip page that we have all of this to work with and do something fun with. And then here we have a solid page we can work with. Inside here we've got our waterfall made with our recipe cards. If you haven't seen this done, there's 2 videos start to finish, one where we assemble the folio and then one where we start to decorate. Here we've got our little gatefold pocket that opens like this, and then this little guy lives in here to keep it locked shut. And then if you flip the page, we have our pockets here. Sorry about that. We have our pockets here and some more space we can use. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with, you remember I told you that I had some special things I was creating to go into your book? Well, let me show you where. The first one, I thought it would be cool if we did a little printable to fit on the back of here. And so Sylvia went in and created this little printable of kitchen conversions, and I thought it'd be really cute to mount it to the back side of this. So let's measure this and see what I need to cut this down at. Now, if you want to get this little printable, you can. It's free. We're going to link it below for you. So I'm going to cut this to 7 inches wide by 9 1/4 tall. We actually have 2 free printables for you for this album, and I will have both of those linked, and I'll show you where we're going to use the other one in a second. Let's get this guy cut down. You'll notice I have this printed on decorator paper from the pack. I just cut this down to 8.5 by 11 and ran this through the printer that way to get it printed onto my page. Also, I'll let you know, when you download this printable, Sylvia made a lot of different colors of this. So if you're not using the same color pack I am, there's other colors like black and red and teal, and I think she did brown and craft and lots of different colors. So you can pick the one that matches your project. All right, 7 by 9 1/4. Let's cut this one down. So this is our little piece that's going to slip in, and this is the piece I'm going to put right back here. Isn't that cute? Just to have a little something in there extra, and you never know when you're going to need a conversion chart. So now that's ready to go back in our pocket, and it's a complete piece, so it can keep our little gatefold closed. Now let me show you the other printable that we have. So for this section, we've created another PDF for you, and it's this one. Now, it may be hard to see on my paper here, so I have it on a plain piece for you to see, but this is Vince's mother's sour cream coconut cake. Now, this was featured on Vinny's Vittles channel. This is his favorite cake, and I thought it'd be cute to add this to my album. So we did create it as a free PDF for you. However, you can do your own recipe this way. Pick a couple or maybe one special recipe and then add it right here into this spot. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut this one down to fit right into the spot. Now, notice that I printed mine on some of the cardstock from the paper pack. I just cut a piece down to 8.5 by 11 and ran it through the printer to print it. And I thought that would be super cute. Now, I measured the space where I'm going to put this, and I want to put this recipe in there in size 6 3/4 by 8 1/4. That's how much of the border I want to show around it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one down. So I'll just find my center and work my way out. I went ahead and cut a piece that's 1/4 of an inch larger than my recipe so I could have a little matte piece to put around it. So I'm just going to glue these two together before I put it into the book. Then I'm going to glue it right here and see how that looks around it. I really like how that looks. And I have this little piece that will close. I just want to make sure it clears, and it does. See how my recipe is closer to the bottom than the top? Okay, so this is where this is going to live. However, when Shannon had started doing this album, she wasn't designing this the way I am. She was doing something different, and she didn't put a magnet for this pocket, so I'm going to do an implant. And y'all have seen me do that before. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. This is an afterthought magnet. You can do any old way to do this. This is just how I do it. But if you ever go, man, I forgot to put my magnet in, here's what you do. Take one of these little flat spatulas. You probably have one of these in your stash from some toolkit or something that you got, and just get underneath that paper where you want to place your magnet. Slide in there, and don't worry because you're going to glue all this back down, but we're just making a pocket to house our little magnet there. Then we're going to take 1/2 of our magnet. I'm going to stick it onto the back of here and peel the adhesive backer away, or the protective backer away, so we can get the adhesive exposed. Then I'll stick this in as far as I can get it to go. I'm just kind of lifting up on the spatula as I do that, and it caught too early, so we're just going to try it again. All right, so I got it inside there. Now I'm going to put glue in to hold it down. All right, so here's the other side of my magnet. I'll place it down. I'm going to peel the little protector off of it to expose the adhesive. And then we'll pick it up on the other side. And this way, this little area will close for me with this magnet. We have plenty of space to hide that guy, and he's completely hidden too. So now let's put our little piece on. I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to put anything under here before I glued this down, and that's perfectly fine. Now you can make this a pocket too. You may see as I get in here, I think I want to do kind of a side slide out pocket. You can make this a pocket. I feel like I don't want to add too much bulk here because of how much less spine I have. I'll explain that to you. I want this to make sense because when you're building them at home, I want you to kind of know when and where to add the bulk. So let me glue this guy down. I love that. I think that is super cute. Just when you're doing this, be mindful of your flap at the top. I want you to see when mine closes, it doesn't cover my recipe. If it does, it's not a big deal. You can always open it to see the title, but I love how that looks. So there's our little recipe, and this guy will go here, and we'll work inside that page later. But let me show what I mean about how much space we have. So I'm going to stand this up. Notice that in this area, I only have a little less than 1/4 of an inch space here to add any weight inside of here. And when I close this down, it pretty much takes up that weight. Does that make sense? I don't want to press too much here. All I have left to do is on this side is the inside of here, and whatever I put in here will not be bulky because I really don't have the room for it. So it'll probably just be either printed recipes, or I won't add any pockets is what I'm saying, and I won't add any dimension in there. So let's close that down and close that over. Same here. I don't want to add any pockets or dimension. Whatever goes here needs to be flat or very, very thin. So we'll come back to that. Okay, let's talk about this area. I have a little bit of room here. Let me show you what the gusset looks like. Do you see how much space I have between these two? And even though I have a waterfall in here, I still have some space in here. So I can add some bulk here if I want to. So if we come inside here and we wanted to add some pockets or another pocket, we could. Let me show you an idea I had. I thought since I had used these guys here, or we had decided to use these here, because I kind of inherited this from Shannon, she put these here. I thought since those were there, I could mimic that inside and make another pocket on the inside. By the way, these are some dies that we have. We'll link all the product that I'm using today in the description. But I thought maybe it might be cute to mimic this in here and make another pocket. So if we close that down, see how it does like a little double skirt kind of thing there? We could put this down here on both sides, just like on the front, and make this a pocket to maybe hold a little booklet, a little recipe booklet. So let's see how that looks. Let's fold this other one up as well, or fold another one up. I'm going to use this one because all my little scallops are already cleaned out on this one. And a tip for you, when I cut these, I cut them 2 at a time so I have extra. You can always just put them back in with your die in your storage so you have them for the future. But I went ahead and cut 2 of these. So see, if I did this, if I glued this here, when this guy closes, just kind of complements. You won't see that anyway because of our piece that slides in to hide it. This will be in here hiding that. But when you open it, you'll have another little pocket that's holding a booklet or something. And I think that'll be cute to give myself another little something in there. So I'm going to glue these down. And I want to show you what I'm going to do. Because they're going to overlap, I'm going to glue one down completely. So I'm going to glue this guy over here. And I'm not going all the way to the edge of my paper. I'm leaving a little bit of a border. If you don't like seeing this overlap here, you can go tighter into the corner and take care of some of that. But I like seeing that little bit of color when I open this. So I'm just gluing that down like that. Now this guy, he's going to live over the top. Okay, and we're going to glue him to this pocket. So as long as we don't glue that very center section, our whatever we put inside will still fit. It's not going to be this that I put in, but whatever we put in here will still fit and close. So as long as we glue this tab over the top, we're in good shape on that. Okay, so I'm going to glue this one down. So I'm just going to place it on top, place it in that corner, and glue that into place. And we still keep our little pocket that way. Because the only thing we're gluing down is the little flap underneath. Everything else stays open. Okay, now I have these little pieces that I can put down on top. I just got to decide which one I want on top. I kind of like this green, and this might give me a place to put like some cut-aparts or some stickers or something. So I think I'll just do the green on both sides. Oops, got my little thingy there. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. So now let's work on creating what we're going to put on the inside of this pocket. I think this is really, really cute. Look how cute that is. But again, when you close this up, using this piece as the closure, you won't see what's underneath it. You'll just see it when you open it. Cool. All right, let's work on that little inside piece. So for a little bit of fun, I'm going to turn this into a book. I think this is so cute. It looks like kind of the front of a little recipe book. So what I did was in the 6x8 pad, I chose 2 pieces to turn into this little booklet, okay? And I'm going to use this guy to put them together. I was going to put this on the inside, but I think I'm going to have the solid on the inside, so if I put recipe cards in here, it'll pop. And then that way this becomes the back of the book, all right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a piece that is the same height, so I cut this one 8 inches long. It's a 1-inch wide strip that I scored in half at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to fold this down just like we always do. It's just a binding strip, okay? And I'm going to bind these 2 together. Crease this down nice and tight. And then we will glue these pages together like a little book. This would be super cute if you use pattern paper here too. I didn't think about that. This strip probably would be precious like that. We're just going to use this one. But a little piece of pattern cardstock, if you have a scrap to do this with, would be super cute. Sometimes in my mind, I think I have to use the base cardstock as all of my connectors. I don't know why I think that in my mind that happens, but that is not the case. You can get very playful and use your scraps anywhere you want. All right, and then this guy's going to go on the top. And doesn't this look like a little recipe book? Super easy. And then this guy will open up. Let's lay him flat so we know he'll go flat. Super cute. And now we have this that we can add recipes to or anything we want and put this into that spot. So here's a trick for you. I want this little piece, I want to use this little guy somewhere in the book. I'll show you where in just a second, but it's too thin for me to trim it like I need to. So what I'm going to do is stick it down with just a little bit of yellow tape just to hold that in place for me. And then sink my blade and I can cut just a little strip off to make this fit where I want it. That may be overkill, maybe more information than you need, but it's a good tip if you ever need to cut just a strip a tiny bit smaller. So here's where I want to put it. I do not love that big strip of white that I put there. That's just on me. So I'm going to take these guys and glue them down on either side. And the reason I'm not using just a single wide strip scored in the middle and glued down is because that'll add bulk to my fold. And I don't want my fold to resist. I want to make sure it's just one piece that's folding here and not 2. And many times when we glue down one thing on top of another, we don't get a good fold. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I think this will look better. I like how that looks, and it just kind of looks more intentional than what I had before. So in hindsight, just use a pattern paper there and you wouldn't even have to do what I just did. But I think that is super cute. Now I got to ask myself, do I want to add a piece here? No, I do not. We're leaving it red. Okay, so here's a thought. I think it'd be cute if we had pockets in here to hold recipe cards. So let's work on that. So this is a sheet from the 6x8 that's got cut aparts on it. I'm going to cut these in half, just along their little line there, keeping them together like this. And won't that make cute pockets? I may need to trim these in a little bit. They may hang over our little book just because of folds and scores and things like that. And if I do, we can do that at the time. But I also want to make some little gusset strips for these. Now these gussets won't show, so I am just going to use scraps from the build from where I made the folio, and I'm going to cut some 1-inch strips, and I'm just going to cut several, and I'll cut them down to size as I need them. So one side of this pocket is going to be 4 inches, so I'm going to cut one down to 4. Actually, I'll cut 2 per pocket, so I'll need 4 of these. So the bottoms of the pockets are 6 inches, so I cut 2 pieces that are 6 by 1. I don't know that I'm going to need a full 6-inch piece, and we'll deal with that when we get to that. But I'm going to go ahead and score these and get them ready just in case this is the length I need. And if you're eagle-eyed and you're watching, something you can do is when you cut these binding strips, score them before you cut them down, and you don't have to do this much scoring. I tend to forget that. It's something I do sometimes and something I don't do other times. It's early in the morning here, by the way. I came in early to work on this. And my early morning crafting is very different than my afternoon crafting. I think my brain clicks better in the afternoon than in the morning. Anybody else feel that way? So for each pocket, we'll need a side and a bottom. So we'll go ahead and fold and crease all of these down. So you remember how I told you we might have to trim this down a little bit? Let me show you. It works really well right here, but if you flip this over, you can see this hangover on the side. So I am going to trim this down just a little bit. I think I'm going to trim them down about a hefty 1/16 to less than an 1/8. I know that sounds crazy, but somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch on either side. Basically, I'm just going to line this up to my cut line and take off the tiniest bit I can on either side. Just being sure whatever you take off of one side, you take off of the other to keep your images centered. So see how you really can't tell we lost anything? And now we can go back and see how this works. Much, much better. I can clear that middle so I can still get a good fold and I'm not hanging over the edge. So for your pockets, you have a couple of options, and it just depends on how picky you want to get about it, okay? So I've got this piece laid across the bottom. The fold is at the bottom, the open is at the top. I can then take my next piece and butt it up to it and glue that down and trim off what hangs over, or I can miter these two. And what you do to miter them is you lay them together like this, okay? And we're going to pick them up, and just holding them together, I'm going to take my scissors and cut through them on an angle from here to here, okay? So I'll just go just like this, and I'll just whack through there, okay? I don't need these little triangles we cut away, and now what you'll get when you lay this down is a perfect mitered corner, and everything seals up nice and tight. You may still have some to trim here and there, not a big deal, but you see how nice that lays together, and you can do that on both ends. And I happen to have a little hangover on the end down here. I'm going to trim that away first, just like so. Then I'll add these guys together, do my mitered cut, and everything now should glue down just right. Check for orientation, because I'm really bad about that. Let's glue this in, and we just glue the folded edge to the bottom. Again, check your orientation, because I am known for gluing this to the top of the pocket instead of the bottom and having to redo it. So, see what I'm saying? That's the bottom of the pocket. So get that one glued down, and then we're going to glue our little mitered sides on either side. All right, see how I have a little bit hanging over the top? We're going to trim that away. That is typically always going to happen. I know a lot of times people are like, I don't know why I'm having to make so many trims here and there. Just because we can't be perfect, you know? You just can't be. So now we've got this. We've got these little gusseted pieces here. Now you might be thinking, why do I need to gusset it? Here's the deal. If you don't need extra space, you really don't need to gusset. What you can do, okay, is just take this pocket, add glue to 3 sides, and stick this down. But when you do that, you make your pocket smaller, just automatically, because everywhere there's glue now, we can't put anything in. Okay, but with this one, because we're going to glue down the gusset, we get to use our entire pocket width. Does that make sense? I hope that it does. When we glue this in like this using gussets, I get to use from edge to edge. And in this situation, I think that's good. I don't really know what all I'm going to want to put in these pockets over the years. And so I'll go ahead and take the time to make them gusseted so I get to use the entire thing. All right, glue on the back. And place one down, and then I'm going to do the second one, and we'll get right back together. So now, look at our cute little recipe holder book. Let's put some recipe cards in it. I'm going to put like 3 on this side and 3 on the other side, and that'll hold 6 recipes. That'll hold so many more than that, but just to give us a place. Isn't that cool? Love that. Let's put it in the book. This album kind of spoils us with space, you know. It's so large that we really can do a lot in here, and that is the perfect little place for our little extra recipe book. Now, I've had a plan for these sides kind of since the beginning. I don't necessarily need to use them, but there's some cute cut aparts in the book I think will work here. So let me show you this. So one of the things I love about Simple Stories packs is they always have these kind of rectangle cut aparts, and they're usually a place to write or make notes. This comes from one of the cut apart sheets in the pack, and what I want to do is I want to mount these in these panels. I just thought, what a perfect place to use these. It almost feels like they were custom made for here. Then in the journal bits pack, you get these, and I think they'll be so pretty to add at the bottom. And I can put them on either side. I could put this oval over here. It might look better over there with the rectangle over here. But isn't that cute how it looks kind of custom down here? So I'm going to glue those down just like they are. Now that does a lot in here. There's still more I want to do. I want to add some cutesies here. I want to put something behind here. But look how that does. And let's put our little closure piece in. And remember, this is our conversion chart on the back. So this will hold all of that work together. And I will show you that it doesn't make our spine too full. Isn't that awesome? Everything has room inside of there and nothing's bulking. So we're good as long as we add all our bulk where we have room, and we really do. And that's all the bulk I'm going to add here because that does my waterfall and everything inside there. So we're good. Now in here, I want to show you what I want to put in these pockets. So let's talk about these pockets. I want to show you what I'm going to create before I show you how to make it. This is what I'm going to do. These little recipe booklet type things. What I want to do is leave one part blank, and I've got the blanks like this, so I can either add a photo or decorate it. But this way I have 2 recipes on this little booklet, and they'll fit in these little pockets. Now you don't have to put them in here where the recipe is facing up. Once you put your pictures in, you could put your pictures facing up or whatever, but that's what I'm going to put in here. And let me show you how I did one of those. So pretty easy. These are 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then I have a 6 1/4 by 1 inch binding strip that is scored in the middle. So I'll just fold that. I actually want that yellow to show, so let me do that the other way. And the reason these are 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 is because my recipe cards are 4 by 6, and that way I have a little border around them. And that is also why I'm having to do this binder strip thing. If I just wanted 4 by 6 books, I could just cut a piece that's 6 inches by 8 inches and fold that in half, but I need that extra little, that little 1/4 inch. So we're going to make it this way with the little booklets. And I think these are super cute in there. Now I'm going to tell you about this album, okay? It's big. This album is big, and it's taken a lot to fill it up. So I went ahead and got a second paper pack. So if you're like, Maymay, you got a lot more paper than me, that's why. I got 2 paper packs, and I have cut into both. And I'm going to go ahead and get 2 recipe card packs, because not only do I want to have all these little places glued in for recipes and things like that, but I want to have some loose ones as well so I can add recipes over time. I think that'll be neat to put just some loose recipe cards in some of the pockets, because you just never know when you might get a new recipe or something you want to add. All right, so we make this little booklet, and then what I'm going to do is glue recipe card to one side and then one on the inside. The ephemera for this pack is so cute. The ephemera and all the little journal bits and things like that. So I want to use those on some of these blanks that I'm leaving. That's why I don't mind leaving some of these little areas blank. You can also cut out some of the cut aparts and put on these little blank areas. We have a lot of options in this book. It's huge, you guys. It's huge. All right, so there's a little recipe booklet, and then we can put that in another one of our pockets. So I'll just put that one right here, and then maybe I can put all my little extra ones here in this pocket, or leave that one for something else. I don't have to fill every single pocket. All right, I did not want this video to be 4 parts, but it's just going to have to be. It's a lot of an album, and it's a lot of work. Let's do a walkthrough to see where we're at, so when we start back again, we'll know. So we come to the inside. We have our little recipes here, which I love. We have Miss Betty's sour cream cake here. We still need to decide what we're doing inside. I've got a plan for here, okay? And then when we come over here, we've got the little piece that comes out that has our conversion on the back. We open this little page, and we also have our little recipe holder book here, which I think is super cute. You could like make this all 5 ingredient recipes or all desserts or something like that. Wouldn't that be cute? Then you got these little places you can jot other recipes down or kitchen ideas. We still have lots of room for decorating. We'll put this guy back inside here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and close this up too, so I can move this over. Then we've got our waterfall on this side, which I still want to decorate. There's a lot. I hope this is not a 6-part video, you guys. It could be. And then over here, we filled up these little pockets, but we still have this space. Plus the outside and adding our closure. Wow, it's a big one, you guys. It's an 8x10 album and it's going to take a lot of work. And so to keep editing easy and to keep everything on track, we're going to have to do another part, at least one more part. So thank you so much for being here so far. I will tell you, a lot of you guys are making these and you're posting them on our Facebook page, and it's so fun to look at. So head to the Facebook. It's actually a Facebook group, and it's called Maymay Made It, and so did I. Go join that if you haven't to get inspiration. Also, check out our customer gallery. You guys are already making these guys and posting them, and I love it. This album is so meaty, you guys. I love this thing. I think this is going to be incredible when it's completely done. I cannot wait. But thank you for being here so far. Don't forget to hit that button and subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, but that way you can be notified of my videos in the future. And if you really want to be notified, click the bell icon and tell YouTube to message you whenever I put up a video. Thanks so much for being here today, and until next time, bye now.